This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing, coming straight out of Baltimore and that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on, shop with us and show some love. This is what we got going on for y'all right now. We got the end of the summer sale going on right now. We got shorts for sale for $10. Come on through and shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street, Baltimore, Maryland. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, shop with us online right now at coolgreenclothing.com. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Becoming a young man is hard for teen boys entering adulthood between the ages of 16 and 20. Some find themselves questioning everything they thought they knew about the world, even getting your first job. You feel good and pumped up, but if your parents have been taking care of you and your needs before then, you quickly learn things are expensive, and the plans you made before working might not happen that fast because part-time job money doesn't go that far. Then if you are one of the lucky young men that comes from a good family and gets a chance to experience high school, proms, and given the luxury of not having to grow up too fast, that usually gives you more time to figure out what you want to do in life or after graduation. At that age, you got your whole life and the world in front of you. Some choose to continue school, go off to college. Others hit the workforce, finally working full time, getting a taste of paying bills in adulthood. For others, everything happens so fast that it's a shock because they don't know what they want to do yet. But that's really not a problem. Most of the time, I know from experience, you really don't get your mind right as a young man until about 23 years old. That's when you have been on your own long enough to see how life works and realize what you got to do out here to survive. But unfortunately, for so many of our young men in the black community, they don't make it, even the ones trying to do right. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will be discussing the case of a young man's encounter on a college campus that took a turn for the worse. Back in 2022, Julian Frere was a 19-year-old young man figuring out life in Baltimore. Said to have grown up as a quiet and loving kid who enjoyed playing video games, and then in high school got into sports, mainly football, in which he excelled. He attended a charter school, Green Street Academy, and played outside linebacker from 9th grade all the way up until he graduated. After finishing high school, Julian, like most his age, hit that crossroad of now what? Being the youngest of four, some family and friends suggested the young man go to college, but his mother suggested it was his future. Take your time and figure out exactly what he wanted to do. The young man thought about nursing school, but decided it was too many classes. He later decided he would learn the trade, HVAC. In the meantime though, Julian knew he needed a job to take care of himself. Even texting his mother for Mother's Day of 2022, letting her know he couldn't buy her anything that year, but he loved her and promised to one day take care of her. But the young man would soon get some motion when he applied for Allied University as a security guard. The company who contracted security guards for posts at places including colleges in the city hired Julian for a post at Morgan State University. With his new job and waiting to save up some money and go to trade school, things was on the up and up for the young man. Then on August 31st, 2022, Julian went to work. This day, he was doing security at the Marble Hall Garden apartment complex, not too far from Morgan, in which a lot of students stayed at, including 21-year-old Chase Wilson. Chase had transferred from a college in Virginia to Morgan and was a sophomore. Staying in the apartment complex, Julian and Chase would cross paths As Julian was patrolling the area, and after bumping into each other a few times, Chase would tell Julian he had the loud out or grass for sale. On that particular day, Julian had allegedly copped something earlier from Chase. Then that night, before he got off, the two men text in which Julian was supposed to grab some more. About 9:45 p.m., Julian was bopping through the complex, getting ready for his shift to end, and talking on the phone. Soon after, another man bopped up to Julian. The two spoke for a brief second before things went left and shots went off, one striking Julian in the head. The shooter ran towards the apartments as one of Julian's co-workers rendered the young man aid before calling BPD. They responded to the 4400 block of Marble Hall Road to find Julian shot. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, the young man would not survive his injuries. Back on the scene, allegedly, detectives found a scale and a few bags of grass. They spoke to witnesses and got access to Julian's cell phone. It showed text messages between him and another man in which Julian had been copping from. His co-worker told police about a man that lived in the complex that Julian would tell him had the grass, but he didn't know his name. Police got security footage from the location where the shooting happened at. It showed Julian walking through the complex on the phone. Another man also walking while on the phone. The two getting closer, walking up to each other before both hanging up, indicating they were talking to each other. A minute later, shots went off. Detectives followed leads and saw the clothes the shooter was wearing and exactly where he ran to, an apartment in the complex. Following information, they went to Chase's apartment to search and found the same hoodie the shooter had been wearing and evidence from his cell phone. Chase was taken into custody and charged with second-degree hit, as the situation was painted as a drug deal gone wrong. Julian's family was devastated, stating the young man had just celebrated his birthday, and the next week before he was killed, he was supposed to go sign up to take his HVAC trade. Students spoke out about how they didn't feel safe and security guards didn't have any weapons on them. It was always robberies and shootings by campus, but most stated they were used to it. As the case started making its way to trial, Chase's lawyers started arguing self-defense, claiming Julian and a friend were trying to rob him for £250. But prosecutors stated Chase knew Julian didn't have a weapon and shot multiple times. They also claimed Chase wasn't credible after lying multiple times about what he did with the murder weapon. Julian's co-worker, who witnessed the whole thing, took the stand. He would add an element no one first knew, stating Julian and Chase did have words, and Julian allegedly punched Chase before the shots went off, but still no one knew exactly why the two men would get in any altercation in the first place, especially if they had already dealt with each other earlier that same day. With no issues, the state offered Chase a plea deal, a life all suspended but 50 years for first-degree hit, in which he turned down and took it to trial. Then in July of this year, a jury found Chase guilty on second-degree murder. He is facing up to 60 years and is scheduled for sentencing in October of this year. Rest in peace to Julian. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family. It's crazy how fast things can go left. You have two young men who could have been anything out here. One in college, one working, about to start school. And whatever happened that night changed it all, leaving Julian gone and Chase facing 60 years in prison. Really for nothing. I won't speculate with this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about the situation. Definitely be respectful. Yeah, crazy story, man. Rest in peace to Julian. I send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk y'all head off with this one. Leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.